Well, the Ohio State Buckeyes are fresh off of a 21-17 win over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. It didn't look the way we wanted to, but Ohio State does move along with a nice win. We get into the film room and break it down on this episode of the Buckeye Breakdown Podcast.
We've got the whole crew together as we cover Ohio State with our instant analysis from Ohio State.
There's something that doesn't feel right.
Unbelievable effort from him today. Is E.J. Liddell going to crack the first team All Big Ten?
I think he can be the guy. I'm not trying to start a quarterback controversy.
He seems to have the durability. He certainly has the toughness, is the question on a lot of people's minds here. Welcome to Buckeye Breakdown.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Buckeye Breakdown Podcast. Tonight, it's a bonus episode for you. Normally, we do this on Sundays, but we're jumping into the film room tonight on this Monday night. As I'll go hand up, I messed up yesterday, caused us to be a day late. But Anthony Moeglin here with you with my partner, Kevin Woidke. And Kevin, before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty of it all, we didn't get to talk to you post-game on Saturday. And there was a lot that happened in that game. Ohio State didn't look the part. As we are 48 hours after that game, you can kind of sit with it for a little while longer. And it's never as good as it feels when you win big, and it's never as bad as it feels in a game like this where you really squeak one out. But, this one felt a little different because, you're getting into the meat of the season, week 8, week 9 here. And some of the same problems that have been rearing their head early on in the season are still here. So certain level of concern here. Kevin, what were your thoughts after that Ohio State game on Saturday?
Yeah, I think there's a few different things. The cuteness level needs to fall off. We need to stop being cute with it and just start running plays that work. We got to run behind our good linemen. And we got to give help where it's needed. Zen was good against Oregon, but when he came in, it was tough. We'll see it. He just got thrown around and looked nervous and looked unsettled, and it's tough because I thought he'd do well. And I think that if he doesn't get hurt, he probably keeps progressing in the right direction as the season goes on. But there were a lot of issues we had to address that went unaddressed during the bye week.
Yeah, that was the surprising part to me, is that you go into the bye week and you're coming off that loss, and yes, at some point you get over the loss, right? All right, it's over with, it's done. We got to move on. And Coach Day talked about it a lot during that bye week. He said, "Hey, we flipped a page. We did a good job of doing that." But then they come out and you make some silly mistakes early. You don't look clean, and some of that you can kind of chalk up to, all right, a little rusty coming out, maybe too excited and whatnot. But they never really shook it. That was the weird part, is they never really shook out of it. And then even worse, they get to the second half and Nebraska started doing some things, and they made some really nice halftime adjustments. There was a minute there with about 10 minutes to go in the game where you're like, we're going to lose. Ohio State season's going to be over here, because they were getting beat physically. They were getting out coached. They were getting outplayed, out executed, and it looked pretty bad.
Yeah, we were saved by the defense in the end. But and Rio's lack of experience, I think, because any normal quarterback wouldn't try and force that throw. But it was tough to kind of watch. I don't know. I need to get a better attitude towards it. We won. I'm complaining about a win, but
yeah,
the first touchdown was an underthrow, and I don't know if we're going to see that or not. I haven't seen the clips yet, but Cardinal Tate had his guy beat by 5 yards and had to slow down to catch the ball. And that Nebraska defender hit him as he's making the catch, and he somehow came down with it. But it was like, what are we kind of doing here? I think that there needs to be a confidence booster. I don't know what it is. And the problem is I don't know where it comes with the rest of the season. Maybe we show up to Penn State, win by 50, and there's their confidence booster back. But I think Nebraska has underperformed this year. They're still a talented team. But that's kind of my whole review of the game. It wasn't what I expected. And truth be told, I'm a little nervous if Drew Allard doesn't play, because
So that's the interesting part, is that he does get hurt, and it's like, all right, the coach James Franklin talked about it today and said he's good enough and he's veteran practice all week. Well, but not. They're going to play a game with that, I'm short of it. Like that's going to be a little smoke and mirrors type of a situation there that they're going to try to do. So.
Yep. Oh, you there?
And we may be back. Are we back? We are back.
Yeah.
Are we back?
All right. Perfect.
All right.
Sorry
We're back. That's on me. We switched it up. We should be good the rest of the way here. So It's interesting, Kevin, where we kind of left off was talking about Drew Aller and how he gets injured last week and comes out of it. And you don't know. He's a veteran guy. He's a guy that you can, still get to Saturday and let him be a legit game time decision. But like you said, their backup is just as capable and potentially even more dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, the running quarterback is what drives me nuts. Excuse me. I just think that we got to have a better job of our defensive line needs to play better from it. We get no pressure. And against a running quarterback, you need to be able to shore up those interior slots while also protecting and containing, because you want to force them back inside the linebackers. But if we can't, outside of Tyleik Williams, our interior D line has been kind of a disappointment this year, and it's been frustrating. I know I'm talking monotone way. I gotta get excited because I love the film review, but it wasn't an exciting game for me. It didn't give me the confidence that I was expecting going into this week. Where now we need to show out we need to win to make it just for a chance to play Oregon again, and then we got Indiana, and then we got Northwestern, which hopefully won't be a letdown game. But they, that's the smartest team in college football. They're going to come prepared. They're not going to make MAs. It's going to be tough. And I think you don't want to have a letdown game there. And then you got Indiana the next week, and then you'll obviously get up for a team up north, but it's just tough. I'm not impressed.
Yeah. And you get a blessing after the Penn State game here with 2 straight weeks where there are a couple get-right games, right? You go Purdue, then you go Northwestern, but Indiana's going to be legit, like you said. They're fun as heck to watch. They're the darling of college football right now. It's not only going to be a good game, but all of America is going to be pulling for Indiana when that game does roll around. And then, like you said, the team up north. So there's a couple get-right games kind of sandwiched in between 3 really, really big games, and you gotta find a way to take care of business. You can't stub your toe like we were on the verge of doing on Saturday afternoon. So we're going to jump right in here. I guess not right in. We're 8 minutes in here, but as you guys are filtering in, please use the comment section. If there's something you want to see or an opinion you have, throw it in that comment section. We'll talk about it here as we dive to the tape here. All right, we'll check it out here. Awesome. So we're all set there. So first drive of the game. This was an interesting one here because you come out and Dylan Raiola really he drops the first snap and it looked a little rattled. And you're like, uh-oh, Ohio State is going to absolutely of this offense, or excuse me, this defense to this point they haven't been blitzing exotically at all. They've been kind of playing everything very vanilla. Well, it's very evident and obvious that was something that the defense really tried to correct and to improve upon in this one against Nebraska on Saturday. So you see here kind of towards the end of this play, you're getting an add-on here by Cody Simon, and then you're getting kind of a read and kind of what they call a green dog blitz. Like if there's a blocker, if your running back goes and blocks, you can kind of add on here. So Ohio State brings 6. Nebraska has it blocked up. They're protected with 6. But when you can do that and you have elite guys on the back end, which you still believe Ohio State does, you can cover it up and then force your guys to get home. And a great, great start. Like this was awesome here, man. It was like, all right, exactly what you needed. The first third down of the game, you get a sack. They're going to have to punt. Their punters' heels are going to be on the end line. Like this is awesome start for the Ohio State defense.
Yep. It really is. This was the one time when you saw the pressure. You saw a double twist there with Tyleik being outside. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was just a single twist because it looks like Jack Sawyer's also outside. But oh, wait. Can you back to the top of this? Hold on. Where's?
Yeah. This is a blitzer here. This looks like it's sunny here.
So then JTT's playing, I guess, a QB spy there, and that's just a very creative way to get home.
Yeah.
I mean, you see Tyleek, that's
like
a good pass.
If we would have had it from the top, my guess is JTT started out here and then he dropped out, and then Sonny and Cody added on. But don't have it from the top here. But still, regardless, that's a sneaky way to get there. And JTT drops out into that hot read zone, falls out of it. Ohio State confuses the young rookie or the young freshman's eyes, and they get out of it with a really nice start. And then it flips right over to the offense. So, Kevin, this is where we got to start here. Look where Ohio State starts their possession. It's not at the 50. It's not the minus 35. They are on the plus 36-yard line. All right, they're in awesome shape here on their side of the field, and they got an opportunity to go score. All right, and they get this drive started with a really nice completion. It's just an easy one, right? Simple. Flip that thing out to your receiver, Carnell Tate. I thought he was awesome on Saturday. He gets a really nice start here, gets some couple good blocks by G. Scott, by Emeka, and makes a really nice gain. 9-yard gain on first down, and gets you set up in a really good spot.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, there's a couple different things I want to highlight on this play. If you go back to the top there, Anthony.
This is as top as we can get here.
No worries. So you can't tell here if it was an RPO or not. But you want to go 3 for 3, and I don't know if I make this throw. I mean, it ends up being a good play, but you have 3-on-3 out there, and you'd rather be 3-on-2 when you're running an RPO. Your read key should be that guy standing on the hashes. But maybe it was just a straight play action because it looks like it was based on. I can't tell. That's too hard to read without going to the top. But that should be the key. He makes the throw here. Because you have a running lane too. He makes the throw, but look at between Zen and Donovan. You have a good gap there for him to cut it inside. So, I mean, that ended up being a good play all around, but it's just this is one of those mental mistakes where he was getting correct in the film room, I imagine, if it was an RPO.
Yeah. If it's an RPO, you're dead right. Yeah. One of the things that you can, as a quarterback, what he would say is like, he's out leverage. And if you can give your guy an accurate ball, which to Will's credit, he does, he gives a nice runner's ball. Not really. That could have been a little bit more out in front. But like you said, this should be a tackle for loss. Like this should be TFL. That's the one guy that can influence the play. He just misses, and Carnell is able to get up the field and get 8 yards to really set it up, right? Like this is a good start. This is exactly where you want to be. And now situationally, Kevin, this is your 2nd and 8 at the 28-yard line, right? This is a prime opportunity to take a shot down the field. Everyone probably knows it, but you need to go take advantage of it, right? This is one where you could drop straight back and let one fly. And instead, Ohio State, there's a large miscommunication here. And this isn't going to be, rail on Zen all afternoon or all night, I should say. But something's not right there. As you get a free runner playing defensive end coming off of a twist, right? As you can kind of see, and gets just a free run at will, and they take a huge sack on 2nd down here.
Absolutely. Anthony, give me a second. I'm going to move to closer to my Wi-Fi router because I'm getting a little glitchy on my end. But
here,
I think I still got you.
There we go. We'll pop you out, Kevin. We'll pop you out and pop back in, all right, when you're set. So, as Kevin pops back in here, this is one where he's going to go get reset here. So this is a play that that Ohio State needs to just pick up. Zen needs to just pick this up. This is a very obvious twist coming inside, and you're getting that block down where that defensive tackle. Now, we talked about them earlier in the week. These defensive tackles were pretty tough, and it showed up a little bit early on, especially. So gets a free runner at the quarterback, and will, instead of being in State, goes 8 yards back and makes it really, really tough on them. So looks like Kevin's back and set up there. So Kevin on 2nd down and short. All right. So that sets up. Yep. It's really tough. You set up a 3rd down. We skip the 3rd down play. As you can see, they get 8 of it back. So now you're 4th and 1. And Kevin, if this happened to you guys, holy cow, what would the feeling be like on Monday morning or I guess Sunday morning, knowing that this play is coming down the road where you got 1 yard to get and you hand it to your all-pro run or all fourth and short?
Yeah. I mean, they just didn't move the line of scrimmage, plain and simple. They obviously stacked. They knew it was coming. They stacked the line. They're trying to make their it's tough to see if you go back a little bit. There's probably 8 guys near the line of scrimmage here. And then you got just right here. Look at McLaughlin. He's completely sideways at one point. These D linemen at Nebraska played very, very well on Saturday, and it was pretty evident. And I mean, you got double T at the top getting manhandled. It looks like they're almost pass setting. It's just This is one of those plays where you walk in the film room on Sunday, and you're just getting there's no easy. It's quiet, and they're looking at you like, "Well, are you going to say something?" Like, it's just there's no excuse. He's asking you what happened, and you have no answer.
Well, yeah, and you even look up here to the top of your screen, and yes, this is kind of the backside, it looks like, of this play, and there's potential that they're maybe running them by, but, you look at this line of scrimmage, it's totally reset by Nebraska. Like, this is a total reset of the line here. It's a stalemate inside, but then Nebraska's winning that on that end, and then the defensive end on this end's winning there. I don't care if it's Barry Sanders running the football. Like, there's just no shot to get through a line looking like that. It was really disappointing, especially because the defense comes out and then you get the ball in plus territory. All right, we skip ahead a little bit here. Nebraska goes 3 and out. Defense kind of steadies up a little bit and continues to sturdy up. Like, this defense, this game was won by the Ohio State defense. So you give the ball back to the Ohio State offense. And now, Kevin, this is a nice play. This is one just misses a big one. He gets shoestrung tackled. That rarely ever happens. A really nice play on the backside there by their linebacker number 8. But he comes in and saves a massive gain as Travion gets through that hole. This is well blocked on the front side. Your guy, G. Scott, setting the edge, and Josh Fryer getting out there leading the way.
Yeah, it's really impressive just to see them kind of grow almost is kind of the way to put it. You see him run out there, and Josh at the beginning of the season was kind of missing those, and he got on that guy and created the gap. Like, I mean, that's just an example of, when they're coaching, you're being coachable. And that's one block that I kind of want to stand out and point out, because at the beginning of the year when you go back and watch these, he wasn't making those blocks. Now he is.
Yeah, and then you get a good seal inside. It's just a really well-blocked play, and that's the one where it's like, all right, the last couple weeks, Travion breaks that. But as this competition gets better and better and better, and the speed continues to increase from the opponent, this is one that will just continue to be a little bit tougher. And you see it here. Travion gets a nice 6-yard gain. And then, after that, sets Ohio State up for a nice 3rd down here. As we are, here we go. So this is a really good one. I put this on here, Kev, because it's your guy. So you get G. Scott in the flat here, and what he does, he started over here in a bunch set, motioned across the formation, and Ohio State did a really nice job, especially on this one. So you see the flat defender right here. It's that cornerback. All right, so he's responsible for the flat, but Ohio State uses motion, and he's not seeing it. He didn't see the motion come through, so G gets into his blind spot on the backside. You send the receiver up on a little curl route in here, and then G goes up the sidelines and does like a little hitch, just like he's even there. So G gets right into his blind spot. A really nice timing, really nice completion there, and it's just a really good chunk play to get Ohio State rolling. Now you're like, okay, we're starting to feel good. Quick pass, nice chunk gain, got everybody involved, and it's a nice move on this drive here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, G, the absolute baller that he is, making a great play there. But if you go back to the top, I do want to highlight him when he makes it. Oh, he's a great guy, best guy ever. If you go back to the top, I do want to make a good example. Look at Big Z here does a pretty good job pass blocking. I know he got ripped apart by multiple media outlets for his performance, but he gets his hands on this. Number 9 is one of the better defensive ends. He gets his hands on him. We talked about him on Thursday, and he locks him out. I mean, Will could hold this ball for another 3 seconds and still be protected by Z here.
And it wasn't, and that's the one where it's frustrating, where it's like you see a clip like this or a rep like this, you're like, he's got it in him, he can do it, right?
Yeah, it's glimpses. Yep.
He's got to do it consistently, time and time again. So a good drive or good starter here, right? You get that nice run on first down, you come in on second down, you hit G. Again, this is a very similar spot. You're at the 40-yard line. This is a shot area, and now we're going to get the touchdown pass, which you kind of talked about, Kevin, as like Will left it a little bit short, and he certainly did. But what I want to highlight is just the leverage that Ohio State secondary in here, just with their route combination. So what you're going to get, you got 3 men set to the bottom of your screen where my cursor's at, and the 3 defenders, right? You get your safety in the middle, you got another safety here, and then you got your corner here. Okay. They're going to send G on what's just a little hitch route here. Okay. They're going to send him right to the first level. And then you get a Mecca right here in the slot. You're one of your best receivers. He's going to run a dig route right like this and get into the eyes of this safety. All right. And then on the outside, your fastest guy, right? One of your best receivers, Carnell Tate. We're just going to send him on a skinny post. All right. Just so he gets inside of this corner, but stays away from the safety if there is some safety help. Now, what's really, really good about this is that Ohio State runs it perfectly, and Will is right on time. All right. You can see him get into this. He's hit rip that thing without that hitch, without the second hitch, right? Rip it now. He does that extra little hop and he gets it. And like you said, that ball, he needs to lay this ball out probably right here would be the aiming point, right on the S, so that Carnell doesn't have to slow down. He can just run underneath the thing. But sometimes when you're thrown to the best receivers in the country, they go make a sweet play for you and light up the scoreboard here.
Yep. And they, obviously makes a great play. We talked about it. You don't want to be too nitpicky about a touchdown, but it was weird. But it was it was a great catch by Carnell. He kind of contorts in the air a little bit. But yeah, I was really impressed by. I mean, and the protection's good too. That's the other thing that you don't notice.
I was just about
Josh
to say. Go ahead.
Sorry, the one point I want to kind of teach tempo is up at the top of the screen. You see Josh still at the line of scrimmage. He did a jump set here, which I don't think that defensive end was kind of expecting. He did a good job. That's why he's still on the line of scrimmage while everyone else is pass setting back. You got to change it up every now and then to get, keep the defensive linemen on their toes. He does a really good job here and keeps it up. And then Will doesn't get hit on this, does he? No, I don't think he does.
No hit. Look at this. Bang, standing back. This is perfect in the back. Like this right there is a perfect pocket. You're 2-on-1 here, right? You got two Buckeyes, the one Cornhusker here. Before I hit pause on this clip, you get a 2-on-1 here in the middle, and you're 1-on-1 on the outside, and then we look to go get one, but it's almost like they were like, I don't even know who to block, right? Because everybody was just kind of covered up, and they did a really awesome job on this one.
Yep.
No, it's awesome. Awesome play. And this is the one you talk about. When you're on offense, it takes 11 guys to execute. And when 11 guys do execute, it looks like that. It looks pretty darn good. So Ohio State gets on the board, takes the lead. And now it's up to the defense again to kind of shut the door. And you're not going to see a lot of defensive clips early on in this first half because they were so darn good, except for this play here. So we get another 3rd and 10. All right, what did we talk about? What did I just talk about, right? 3rd down. And Ohio State, again, the criticism to this point in the week was, hey, Jim Knowles hasn't been lighting it up. He hasn't been, mixing it up on defense. So he goes with another blitz look again. So Ohio State is bringing 6 with 5 in coverage. You get 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you get 5 in coverage, and you get a little robber here. Where my cursor's going right here is a robber. The problem is when you do that, you have to get home. And credit to the Nebraska running back here. You'll see him come across the formation, and he picks up, I think it's Sonny Styles. I'm pretty sure it's Sonny. But Sonny coming clean. That's a great fit in there by this running back. And the Nebraska offensive line picks everything up. And when you do that, you're in big, big trouble, because either your defensive backs have to cover and be spectacular in coverage, or just like we see here, the quarterback can take off and he's got a mile to run because everybody on the back end has their eyes turned away and locked on their guys. But it doesn't matter because Raiola just does a little fake, does a little Mahomes-y fake thing just to get one extra step, and he takes off and has a massive setting up zone.
Yep. No, that's right. And that's where, that's what it's going to bring a lot of bad juju to, not bad juju, but bad vibes to the Ohio State fans. But if you remember that Michigan game, this is an example of when C.J. Stroud could have exploited his wheels a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And he does, for a young guy, he's got good decision-making skills. I mean, that's the only way to put it. This offensive line held up against defensive line well. Great, like you already talked about, great pickup by that running back. And then, once the quarterback takes off, these wide receivers shift to blocking, which is impressive. They're right to it.
Yeah, and even look at Denzel Burke. This is the problem when you're in man coverage, right? You're locked on here. Denzel's locked on here. Like, they don't even know that Raiola is running, and then you get a nice block down the field and a huge chunk play, and now you're thinking like, Nebraska. All right, at this point in the game, they've kind of played it little, evenly with Ohio State, and without a really poor first set of downs, like you don't know where this game could be, and you're starting to feel a little uneasy at this point. But then, as they did all day, and as they've really done all year, Kevin, we've talked about it a bunch. This defense has that bend don't break mentality to it. And, this was another great example of it, right? They get down to the 15-yard line, and look, that was 1st and 10 at the 15. It's now 3rd and 14 from the 19. So, again, they got down in the red area. It gets really hard down there, especially for a young quarterback. They push him out, and then they run a little screen play on 3rd and long, and the Ohio State defensive line just totally eats it up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a great – he snuffed that out. Tyleek's a machine, but, I mean – just looking at that, I mean, he ran through 3 linemen.
Mm-hmm.
Like that tackle's job is not Tyleek. That tackle's job is supposed to be the defensive end, which did. I'm trying to think. If you go back to the top,
dropped out. So this is Kenyatta right here. He dropped out. Get a little fire zone up the top. You get a little zone blitz, and Kenyatta drops out. And you're thinking, if you're Nebraska at this point, dude, you're like, oh my gosh, you're going to get 3 on, of defense that's all going this direction to make up for the fact it should be the right call, because you should, in theory, have a block here, you're blocked here, and then this guard is leading the way to the end zone. Tyleek had different plans.
And that was just, so the way a screen works, first guy out gets the flat defender, second guy out gets the first guy inside the box, and then the third guy out just gets clean up anything. And I mean, they all 3 got out at the same time. It looks like that's just a bad rep by that tackle. You see that defensive end drop out, you need to be crashing down on Tyleek immediately, because if he makes his way across your face, you're done.
Yeah, it's a really good point, and it's something that Ohio State, a well-timed blitz call, again, another exotic blitz on 3rd and long, something we haven't been seeing to this point, but they do a good job. They dial it up at the right time, and Tyleek makes an unbelievable play. Like, this is the stuff that the big-time players do. When the big-time player has an opportunity to make a big play, they do that. So immediately, what happens next? Nebraska kicks a field goal. We flip it around, and while the last go ball, or the last big ball by Will Howard, maybe was a little bit short, this one to Jeremiah was just fantastic. And you see it down here at the start of our play. We're in a condensed set. So when you condense the receivers down, guess what it does? It also condenses the defense down. Nebraska runs this really interesting version of Tampa 2, where they basically, what we're used to seeing is this guy where my cursor is normally is playing like Mike linebacker, all right? And he fits up in the run, and then he's responsible for the middle of the field. Well, they just kind of scoot him back to protect against everything deep. The problem is when he turns, I don't know why he would turn and go. You can kind of see him right in the middle here. Watch, he turns and he drops and faces this way. When that happens, if you're Will Howard, you can tell his eyes are locked right on him. When that guy turns and goes that way, he knows that this safety's in conflict, as you're going to get a deep out right here. And then Jeremiah is just going to go straight up the pipe, right up the seam. And Will lays one out there. Just This is a perfect throw. Now that is what you're talking about. This is the throw that we've been waiting for, man. And it was just laid up there perfectly. Great footwork, great timing, great decision. And they take the top off the defense.
Weird. It's almost like two did a spin move to go
Yeah.
cover the best receiver in college football. Like he went, he spun the wrong way. Instead of opening his hips to the left and running with them, he opened his hips to the right, used about 90% wasted motion, and a guy who's running full speed straight at you.
And not just a guy, the guy is running full speed.
That's just absolutely absurd to me.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And this is a great play call. It's good everything, right? You use play action on this one. We love the use of play action. Again, looking up front, the boys are battling up front. Like, this is a good set. This is a good rep. Like, this is on Will Howard to step up and make Josh Fryer right. Like, that's truly the quarterback's responsibility right there. And it's a well-blocked play. It's a well-executed play and well-schemed play. When you do all those things, man, it ends in the end zone.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, we flip it around. And again, here we go. We get Ohio State having the football back. So Nebraska gets forced to go 3 and out. And again, Kev, this was one where it's like, all right, their offense couldn't do anything. Raiola couldn't get going. And the Ohio State offense on the flip side had a chance to really take it off. And you're going to see here, we're going to flip back just for a second. So with a little bit of time left, I don't have the full scoreboard on my underneath here, but we're in the second quarter. Let's just say it's halfway through the second quarter. Ohio State scores their 14th point. They're not going to score again for a really long. You're not going to score again until the fourth quarter, right? Until that final drive, and they just kind of freeze up totally. And again, you're in great position here. Like right now, when you have the football on offense, you're thinking score. We're on the plus side of the 50. We're got to put the pedal down and just take all this faith out of Nebraska's team. They just don't do it.
Right. You'll see it here. It's just little things. It's perfecting the little things here, because you have a good self fake. That offensive line is doing a good job, because you see that one safety biting up on it, and they almost falls down running back.
And it's a great start. This even right here is, Kevin, it's a great start to the drive. We're going to see this drive come unraveled in a really bad way. But this is a really great start. Carnell Tate makes an awesome catch. This was one where even I talked about after the game, like Carnell was making really hard contested catches. He led the way, 7 catches for 103 yards and a score, but he was doing a really nice job. And in scenarios like this, it's a nice, tough contested catch. And now you feel like you're rolling. Like, it feels like you are absolutely rolling here. But what comes back to Hancha, and this is where some of the lineman play really started to deteriorate. Nebraska's defensive line started really making their hay, and this was a good example of it, where Will gets it's again, I think it's 3rd down in this scenario right here. They're manning up across the board. I take Ohio State's receivers anytime it's man-to-man, but Will doesn't have the time to stand back there and make a decision. We get beat on our right guard right away, and here come the Cornhuskers really chasing him down and making a huge sack on 3rd down.
And what's frustrating is if Austin doesn't get beat there, Zen is fine. Zen's going to run his guy past the quarterback, and Will steps up. That's on Austin, but they're going to blame it on Zen. And that's what they did do. A lot of people that don't know football like to comment on football, which is insane to me. Don't even get me started on the PFF. But it's just wild. Like, because right there, it's pretty evident when you go back and watch it that the only reason Will put himself in a bad position with that defensive end is because Austin got beat. And I mean, you never want to be facing the quarterback when you're pass blocking.
Yeah,
that's no man's land. You're just watching stuff, or be laying on the ground after a missed cut block and watch your quarterback just get absolutely leveled in a spring game. But that's a different
Did
time.
That happen? Did that happen?
Maybe to somebody. It was just like, I mean, even looking at Donovan here, like he's just it looks like a scarecrow. I mean, he looks like a gingerbread man based on how his arms and legs look. But I mean, it's just he's in the middle of nowhere. Like he's looking for work and there's no work because Will's run all the way out of the pocket.
Yeah, and he gets flushed out. And we've also seen Will do this, and you're thinking, oh, he's going to break it out. Not in the Big Ten here. He gets chased down and makes a huge sack, pushing him pushing him back. And we're going to talk about this for just a little bit. I'm going to play this clip one time through. There isn't much to talk about other than the fact that, you miss by 20-ish yards here on the kick, as you can see the ball kind of sailing through the air. And this isn't me, harping on our kicker, but the problem is that afterwards, this is huge, right? This could have been a huge turning point in the game. And frankly, it was. And it could have been the difference in winning and losing the football game. No doubt about it. But I think the more telling part was Coach Day was asked after the game. He was asked, what his confidence level is in Jaden Fielding. And he basically, in a very politically correct way, basically said they don't have much confidence in the young kicker. And you saw that early on in the season. Remember back to Western Michigan where he kicked 3 balls out of bounds back to back to back. It was really odd. And then you miss a kick, not even close. That ball landed on the camera bay here. And it's like, man, that's not good for a team that's trying to win a national title. You have to have all 3 phases of the football game. And when you don't have confidence in your kicker, that's a bad place to be.
Yeah, we went through that one year when I was there, and it's just it's tough because you want to give the guy confidence, but kicking on unsimulated air, and the problem is you can't give him a full regular rep because you're destroying your offensive lineman, you're destroying your PAT team when you're doing that because they're just taking being on the blocker, being a blocker for a field goal or point after attempt is basically getting lit up as slow as humanly possible. You just take shots after shots after shots. You just absorb a rush like a ShamWow and hope you don't start leaking. And if you do that live during practice, you can't. It's just you're going to ruin. People are going to get banged up quickly. It's usually your 2 offensive line. That's your number 1 field goal. Mm-hmm. So if someone goes down, then on the 2, you're looking at your 3 guys subbing in for your 1. It's hard. So I would say that, it's tough to get that confidence back because anyone can kick when they're kicking off a tee, but you really want to give them a real simulated rep. And I remember when we had that bad year, I took a lot of extra shots on field goal that year because we were doing live reps in practice. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Dude, it's so important, right? Because the last thing you want is to be playing Indiana and be down 2 and you have a 42-yard kick with 30 seconds left with a 4th and 2, let's just say, and now you're deciding between, hey, do we kick it? And if we miss it, the writing's been on the wall all year long, like our kicker hasn't been great, or do you go for it and then you don't get it and you're like, what do you do? This is special teams always rears its head when you least need it to, right? In the most important spots, especially when a kicker's struggling, they find themselves having to hit a game-winning kick or in a huge pressure-packed scenario. And so it's always going to come up. So it's a really concerning thing, in my opinion, even more so than our offensive line struggles and whatnot, because there's going to be a game that comes down to a field goal, and whether your kid makes it or not, determines your season. And Ohio State doesn't have much confidence currently in their kicking group. So from a scenario standpoint, Ohio State misses that field goal, and then Nebraska goes right down the field and they kick a long one, a 50-plus yarder into the closed part of the stadium, the closed part of the horseshoe, the north end, and bang one through, and they go 14-6 heading into halftime. They get the ball coming out of half, and Kevin, I thought this was really interesting. Ohio State got the ball coming out of half. They don't do anything with it, and then what really caught my attention was Nebraska's ability to run the football when they came out of halftime, because they found something in that Ohio State defense, and they took advantage of it right from the start.
They did, and I think what they found is all the interior pressure. Mm-hmm. They look at that run. That's outside, and when you're bringing interior pressure, you're leaving yourself susceptible to an outside gain, and I mean that's just bad tackling. That should have been we talk about Caleb coming up. He gets hit a little bit here, but he misses tackle there.
And then there's another missed tackle and a arm tackle to save a big play. But what's more concerning, Kevin, is right here. You got, I think that's Cody or maybe Sonny fighting pressure to get outside. Caleb's in the same spot. This is an MA here by your safety, because you got 2 guys in the same gap. This is the same thing as a linebacker and a defensive end being right on top of each other. This is the exact same thing. Caleb over pursues and makes this, and there's this block coming. And now look at this, dude. You could drive a train through that. That's a massive hole.
Right. I mean, is that the other Styles number 6 there that Chessman is that?
Yeah, that's Sonny.
Sonny's brother.
Sonny misses, and Lorenzo
misses. Yeah. Is that? I mean, it's just that's tough. I think it's Cody. Yeah, Cody couldn't get off that block. I don't know. That was just that. There's so many MAs there, and that's what happens when you have that kind of interior pressure.
It's a really bad rep there by the defense. And again, this is one where, from a momentum standpoint, you have Nebraska backed up. Don't give them any life. Like, choke them out, choke them out, choke them out. They get this huge chunk run. We're just going to watch this series kind of straight through, because very next play, they go outside for that first one, and then they just bang it up the middle. And this is a game-saving this is a touchdown-saving tackle. Like, this is a great tackle by Caleb Downs, you know, as the running back breaks through, and he saves a 70-yard touchdown run.
And it's tough that we don't have the top of the play, because it looks like it's a delayed draw there, which is tough to guard. But when you're – I don't know who – that's Sonny that gets pressure there. And
right in here.
You know, you got to be gap sound. It looks like – who came up there? Who's that on the 30-yard line?
Right here on the 30?
Yeah, I can't see who that is, but got a little greedy in there. I think it was JTT. Ran in there, got a little greedy, and laid out the – or no, it's Hartford, number 7.
Yeah.
Is that Hartford? Or
no, that's
he lays out the tackle.
Yeah. Lays him out. Lays him down. But it's like one of those things where
it's not who has the ball.
Yeah. Go get the football. Like, you know, that's one where he's again in the same gap as a defensive end. He stacks on top of it. Not gap sound, especially on the back end. Just not gap sound. So all right, so you're backed up on the 15, you get a big chunk run out to the 30, and then you get another big chunk run, you're out to the 45. And what do? They go under center. Nebraska goes under center, and they hand it off, and another missed tackle in the hole. That's the biggest thing here. Another missed tackle in the hole, and another 10-plus yard gain. That's 3 straight plays there. I didn't cut any other plays out. That's 3 straight plays, bang, bang, bang. And now Nebraska is set up on the other side of the 50-yard line.
I mean, your safety is there to be what he is, a safety, and be the last line defense. But like that's a 1 yard, maybe 2 yard gain, and you jump, you leave your feet. That's just bad tackling.
Yeah, that's 3 straight plays where not gap sound and missed tackles, and then again Caleb saves a big gain. This tackle wasn't as hard as the last one, but still a nice tackle there. And now Nebraska's rolling. They're absolutely rolling. They get it down once more. But again, Ohio State, that bend, don't break look. And I wish we could back these plays up. I did a bad job cutting these up because, again, we get a 3rd and 9. And what does Ohio State do? They bring pressure. All right, look, you have 5 blitzers here. You get some kind of a massive twist inside. Again, we can't see it because I did a bad job. But you get a big twist inside, and then you get JTT running free. That's a scary place for a quarterback to get to the top of your drop, and you get 44 staring you down.
Yeah, if you're going to rush those defensive ends as wide upfield as they're doing it, and you're bringing pressure, you're banking on your guys getting home, because if you rush them that far upfield, there's going to be gaps in the protection, there's going to be gaps in the run game, but you're relying on your linebackers to make those plays, whether it be a 1-2 yard gain. And that was kind of the problem that we were seeing, is that, I mean, he makes a great play here, but that was something I want to talk about in the last play. Is like they were kind of letting our defensive ends get upfield, and then right here, I don't know who messed up, but like I'm gonna leave that guy on block.
64 is blocking the back of his own guy. It's like it had to be some kind of a twist here, because you see the Ohio State guys going with leverage this way. You're getting a looper here, and I assume JT kind of looped out. But regardless, like it's a big play because you're banking on him to get home, and obviously it's a free runner. But again, on 3rd down, if he doesn't get home, let's just say JT slips or falls or whatever, you have a 1st down completion right in the middle of the field. But because you get home, you're able to have a huge sack against the normal team that's pretty much knocking them out of field goal range. But against Nebraska, that kicker was he was fantastic on Saturday. He was unbelievable, dude. He was hitting bombs. But that's the difference, Kevin. Truthfully, that's the difference, right? Their kicker goes 3 for 3, and they have a chance to win the football game at the end. Our kicker goes 0 for 1, and it's a nervy finish for us. So for it to get a little bit nervier, all right, Ohio State gets the ball here. They're starting their drive, right? It's 1st and 10 right after the field goal. time to go. Will Howard's playing well, 10 of 11, 172 yards, 2 scores. He's protected, right? There's no pressure right here. He just lets one sail on him. He's looking for a Mecca. He lets it sail, and this is a problem because now all of the momentum is with the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yep. That was a great tackle.
I was
running him out of bounds by Josh here.
It's huge.
Giving
like we joke about stuff like this, like, yes, good hustle by, your favorite guys, the left tackles and stuff. But like, this is amazing. Like, he doesn't do this. They'd score a touchdown on the yard line. Like, this is massive by Josh Fryer.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what it is. Like, you've got to get, even if you knock them out the one, it gives your defense a fighting chance. And that's what you need to do when you're a lineman there. You're not going to make a form tackle on open field, but if you can force them to the sideline or back to somebody else, that's where you want to do it.
So where did this go wrong here? So this is a standard route concept that you get when you face a one high look. Okay, so you have double. I used to call it ship. Right, ship. So you get a hitch on the outside and then a seam by number 2. All right, so you mirror this. This is a mirrored concept, and then underneath the score bug here, you're getting a little hitch. So why you like this is because you have one guy in the middle of the field who's responsible from hash to hash. All right, so he's in big conflict here. Then you get a corner responsible for a third, and then another corner responsible for a third. What you could do here, and what I would have coached him up to do, is just take your completion, right? There's a completion in the flat here. There's a completion underneath right where the 9 is, because the Nebraska flat defender, you see number 3, he gets his hands on Emeka and actually turns his body towards him. So all you got to do, once he turns his body, just take your completion. Instead, Will gets a little greedy. He probably predetermined that he was going to rip the seam ball, and he doesn't rip it. He floats it, and the guy who ends up picking it off is ultimately the cornerback, who at this point in the play, you can see his helmet right there. That's the guy who ends up picking it off because he's just flowing back in his zone. He drifts over, the ball sails. He makes a really nice catch, takes it in the red area. Doesn't finish, though, gets pushed out by Josh Fryer. And we know how important that is because we're going to skip the first 2 plays, right? We're now looking at 3rd and goal. And Nebraska looks to hand this thing off to the outside. And Ohio State's defense, man, this is impressive, right? We can say all we want about them between the 20s, but when you get in the red zone, dude, they are really, really tough, man. They turn the page and they flip the switch, and they're a whole different group down there.
Yep. And they make a good play here. I mean, for how much we've been giving the D-line some tough – I mean, Sawyer here makes a really good play. He gets off that tackle, and I think he was supposed to be left by that tackle on purpose, but he keeps pursuit, chases him down, and knocks him down at the 1.
It's really good, man. And Cody talked about it in the post game. He was like, somebody asked him, what's it like defending, in the goal to go scenario, and he goes, dude, give us this much grass to defend. We're going to defend it, and we're going to do our best. This is an ultimate put your money where your mouth is play. And for Nebraska, I hate the jump call here from 2 yards out. I'm not a big fan of running backs leaving their feet at any point, but especially from 2 yards out. He leaps, and the Buckeye defense stuffs him back. This is just all heart here by Ohio State. There he is, the block O, and you're going to start seeing him as we get into the 4th quarter. But Coach on Saturday, and that's just his first of a bunch of huge plays that he made for that defense.
Yeah, he really did show out. I mean, you lean on that guy, you lean on the block. Oh, they gave it to him for a reason, and he when that defense was sputtering and the whole team was sputtering at this point, it was always there to kind of lean on and make the play that needed to be made.
He was awesome. He was fantastic, and it was really cool listening to the entire team talk about him. Right? They all talked about what the leader he was and the guy that he is to that defense. So now for Ohio State, okay, you flip it over. What your goal is when you're backed up like this is just get this first down. Like, don't worry about the 95 yards or the 97 yards or the 99 yards in this case that you have to go. Just cut that field into a 10-yard field, all right, and just get this first down. What we're so used to seeing, Kevin, in a situation like this is giving the ball to Travian Henderson or Quinshon Judkins and just stuffing it in there and moving the sticks, using your power, using your best running backs to get that thing in there and do it. But it's very clear at this point in the game, they didn't trust it. They were not trusting anything up front. They decided to drop it back, and this is another good option. This is option 2A. However, we give up some pressure. Zen gives up a good little spin move, little pressure in the face, and this, too, could have been a pick six as well if 15 was looking at the ball. Instead, he had his eyes locked on Emeka. He drops down, makes a hit.
Yeah, can you go back? Can you go back to the top here? This isn't even really a spin move. It's just an up and under. But I want to see something. Yeah, no, it's not this play. There was a play earlier in the game where Zen gets hit by the running back.
Lost my guy there. Let's see. We may have lost Kev. He'll jump back in here in a moment. But we get a little spin move at the bottom. Pressure. Ohio State throws it out there. No good. No bueno there on third down. So turn the ball over. They punt it away. Not a good punt. But again, the Ohio State defense coming up again time and time again. And this is another opportunity for them. They bring the heat. All right. They bring the heat. 4 guys in coverage. That means 7 guys are in pressure. And when you have 7 guys, that's 1 more than the offensive line can block for. And when they do that, they can't. There's nothing that they can do. So they had guys open, but fortunately for the Buckeyes, they get home and they get a huge sack on 3rd and 10. And again, just really stingy. This is a really stingy group and making it really tough on Nebraska. So we flip it over. We're going to speed through this little section here because not much happens. Not much happens here towards the end of the 3rd quarter. They flip it over. Ohio State does push the ball out just a little bit. But again, it's 3rd and 2. We're so used to seeing every time that Ohio State gets into these 3rd and shorts that they're able to run the football. We get you back here, Kev. There we go. Get you back. But we're so used to seeing that this group run it well on 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts. And again, just like earlier, on 4th and 1, they got stuffed. And on 3rd and 2, they get stuffed. And it really disappointing, just really disappointing up front. Not something we're used to seeing. It really isn't. You get free runners everywhere, a couple guys on their backs, like just not a good set there. And Travian's got just nowhere to go.
Yep, I mean, that's tough. I mean, they reset the line of scrimmage, and that's the only way to describe it. I mean, you can't even. We don't have the top here, but I mean, you got Zen on his knees. And
Kev, they do actually a nice job. So if I remember this one correctly, this looks like a zone read to me, right? Where the quarterback's reading the defensive end, and then he's getting a looper on the. This is a really good call, I think, on their part because we're 2-on-1 here. Looks like we're getting some movement here. Not a good posture here, but at least enough to be in the way. But I think Nebraska does a nice job of, hey, their defensive end just takes the running back. Will gives it for some reason. I don't think he should have given it, but he does with that looper coming around the top, and they just stuff him on 3rd down. Maybe it was a good run blitz that they just had dialed up at the right time, but ultimately it's really disappointing when the Ohio State can't trust their running attack to get them 2 yards even. It's really, really disappointing. All right. Now we go to the 4th quarter. All right, we flip it over, and it's now winning time for Ohio State. Okay, it's 14-9. It doesn't feel good. That stadium was really nervy. If you were down there, you knew it felt very, very nervy, and it gets a little bit worse here as Nebraska drops back to pass, and this was just an unlucky one. It's Caleb Downs versus their tight end, and 10 times out of 10, I give the advantage to Caleb Downs, but this ref had something else to say, and this wasn't intentional by any means, just unlucky. Caleb bumps into the ref, falls down, and just luckily for Nebraska, they were thrown to that guy, and he catches it and just goes to work with it. Doesn't just run out of bounds or get stopped, takes it all the way into the red zone, and now Nebraska's set up with a 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line.
Right, and that's just unlucky. That's on the. I mean that it's a really well designed play that they're trying to do because that referee watched the line there, and I doubt they were trying to do it, but he needs to his head on a swivel a little bit more as a official.
He looked like he gave a forearm shiver there, dude. Like,
I know, it's just he's defending himself, which is what's tough. But look at just watching that guy run. You give all the advantage to.
I was gonna say that exact same thing, dude. And like, it's funny because I'm unathletic, so I can say it. But like, just watching him kind of lumber here. He's got knee braces. Anytime your tight end's got knee braces, you're in bad shape. But this is one of those plays, right, Kevin? What do we talk about? When you play bad teams, you can't let them hang around because stupid stuff like this happens. And now you give Nebraska an opportunity to take the lead, man. This is huge. This is a massive play in the game.
Exactly.
They flip it. Here you go. And now, okay, so they go 1st and 10 on the 19. So they get that first down. And so now you can see it here. They get inside the 10-yard line, and they have the opportunity to get a first down here at the 1-yard line. But you see 3rd and 7. What have we been seeing all game long? 3rd down, Ohio State's going to heat it up. So when they heat it up, you feel like you're going to get some man-to-man coverage. Well, Nebraska runs the perfect play call. The receivers you can see here is running out. This is whatever they call it. It's just your standard pick play. I call it under, where the slot guy aims for the upfield shoulder of the defense back, and you see him here, and then he goes up the field, and then this outside receiver. Basically, when you rep this in practice, he actually touches the hip of the receiver coming by. That's how close you want them to be, because when he wraps off of this, it's like a little slant route, but off of a pick. And as long as that upfield receiver doesn't make contact, you're good. Really good throw, and he ends up being a yard short, but a really nice catch to set up 1st and goal from the inch line.
Yeah, I think he does make contact here as well. And I think that I don't understand. I'm not a referee by any means. It drives me nuts watching them do their job. How does a guy who's running, and we can obviously see it better from up here, who's supposed to be running a route towards the end zone, is running backwards towards the line of scrimmage, clipping the DB as he goes by, and then running up? That feels like cut and dry. I think a kindergarten referee could have thrown the flag on that. That's I don't know. That's just bad.
Yeah, and would have been justified too if they throw this pick. If they throw this flag here, it would have been justified, right? But if you're Denzel and you feel that, it's really hard, dude, because it puts these guys in this crazy conflict of like, hey, I need to get underneath this and then get on my route. But if he feels that and has the wherewithal to just hit the ground, he's getting a PI. You're getting an OPI on that, but you're also giving up a touchdown. So it's like, what are you going to do? Because the contact, yes, it's there, just not quite enough. And Denzel doesn't sell. I'm not saying he should have sold it, but it's just, I think, well executed. And from a quarterback's perspective, Kevin, it's not OPI. That's not OPI there. That's a good route. But if we're seeing things through scarlet and gray colored glasses like you and I both are, they could have definitely thrown that for sure. So it sets it up, and now Nebraska takes the lead. So now you look down. Not only do they score, but they get the 2-point conversion. All right, so they get the 2-point conversion. Good call, good play. Now they're up 3. So again, what did we talk about earlier? Ohio State, if they have to kick the football to tie it up, what do they do? Do they trust it? But thankfully, the offense didn't leave it up to chance, and they get started right away. First play of the drive. This is, I think, one of my favorite clips of Will Howard to this point in the season. Again, Kevin, offensive line does a nice job. Obviously, we didn't show all the clips in this cut up tonight, but they do a really nice job. Give him a good pocket, and my favorite part is you see Will drift just a little bit. Right, he resets in the pocket, takes that Brady step backwards, where he stays in the pocket, eyes stay downfield, sits in there, finds Carnell up the sidelines, and that's exactly what the start that you need. Right, you get it going right away. You don't just get it going with a little completion. You get it going with a big play down the field.
Right, and that's what you want to do. I mean, you're trailing against a team you're worse than. You got to go out and make a big chunk play here. Mm-hmm. Is this the play where Zen gets hurt too?
It may be.
And that's what's tough.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate. You see him at the top. He's still in the game. I'm not sure if it's the one, but we'll see on this next couple plays here. But that's really unfortunate. He truthfully was, especially in the stuff we've shown tonight. Like you said too, Kevin, you made a good point early. like he was going to start getting better. Like this is his first full game in a long time, a really long time. Like it's hard to play a full game of football. And this was his first one, and he's holding his own. And Nebraska's defensive line, we talked about it. It's one of the best in all the country. You know, there's some really, really good players on that defensive line. So, all right. So you get that big chunk play. And now this is exactly where the conflict comes into play, right? You're at the 28-yard line and you get a 4th down here. And, you know, a telltale sign that the coach doesn't trust his special teams and also doesn't trust his run game is on 4th and inches. You can see it here. They don't even got to go a half yard, you know, 4th and inches. And we're sprinting out on the 28-yard line. So this is if it's a 28-yard line, it's a 45-yard kick. That should be chip shots at Ohio State. It's not. Don't trust it. What do you do trust? Ripping that thing out to a Mecca. Very similar to what we saw early on, but a little different way to get to it. Nice throw, nice catch, and a huge, huge play on 4th down.
Yeah, this gives me PTSD from when the Chiefs knocked the Browns out of the playoffs because I'm pretty sure it's the same play. I mean, and when you have an advantage like you have in Mecca over that safety, you got to take it. Just like you had the advantage whenever you have Tyreek Hill on the field. He's going to beat you in short, quick little routes like that. And if you're playing off coverage, which throws me for a crazy loop here because you're not throwing a deep ball on 4th and 1. Why is that guy so far off of Mecca? He just does it quick, and you just zip it to him. You can't make that play. I mean, you turn the wrong way. That guy number 2 may have cost Nebraska this game. There's 2 plays that would have changed the game if he ran it correctly, that he ran incorrectly, and it opened the door for us. I don't know where number 2 is, but I'm going to send him a crumble cookie because that is fantastic.
He'll enjoy that crumble cookie, dude. That would be good. Send me one too while you're at it. No free ads. No free ads. Crumble, hit us up. No, but like to your point though, it's like, all right, you got to sell out for it. You're not going deep. You know, the one guy who they're going to throw it to is a Mecca, but just a really good play, really good execution, but really concerning. You know, Kevin, it's like, all right,
yep.
You know, I hate to be this guy who sits here and says like, oh, you should have done this. It worked. It clearly worked. You got the 1st down, but we're so used to seeing, hey, Travion Henderson comes in, 110,000 people know it's going to be a run play, and Ohio State moves the line of scrimmage and they get the 1st down, you know? And it's like, this feels a little uncomfortable.
I agree.
All right. So now we get it down there. All right. So you move the sticks here on 4th down, set it up, and now we fast forward to the top of the red. Sick little route. All right. So what you're going to see is some confusion, I think, by the Nebraska team. But as it turns out, it turns into like some kind of man coverage with 2 robbers, some kind of a cover 1 where you get a robber here and deep in the middle, robber here in the middle, and then you're manned up here, you're manned up here, you're manned up here, you're manned up here, and you're manned up here. All right, so you're getting straight man. What Ohio State does is say, Quinshawn, you're one-on-one with a linebacker, go in. And it looks like he's got like a 4-way go. He could go any which direction. He comes out of the backfield, gets to about 3, 4, 5 yards, and then breaks it off to the corner. It's a really sick route when you have a guy who can do this. To the corner of the end zone. Just an awesome route, awesome play call. And when you know your matchup, you know you're getting a good matchup. This is the time to call it. And Kevin, to the offensive line's credit, man, like this doesn't happen right away. This play takes us some time to develop. And look at this. Yep. Look at this pocket. Look at this. No pressure at all. When the chips were down, no pressure.
I mean, Zen eats up that bull rush really well. He knocks his hands off. The guy stumbles forward. If you watch, that guy's going for the long arm. He knocks it off immediately. And that's why you see that defensive end's, the top defensive end's head go into his chest because Zen was able to knock him down. He got his balance back, but it was too little too late. And you see Quinshawn was there to help with the chip if needed, but Zen didn't even need the chip. Gives a little shoulder fake to the inside, then breaks back out, holds that safety off, and then there you go.
It's awesome. There's Josh Fryer doing a really nice job at the bottom of your screen, right? Just staying in good position. You got 2 guys here in the middle just dominating the offensive guard, or excuse me, the defensive lineman. And then one-on-one right here with that, there's another win. So you had 4 wins across the front of the end zone and a really nice route to take the lead.
Absolutely.
Huge play, man. That's a huge play. Well schemed, well executed, and well done there by the Buckeyes. So, Kevin, I need your honest reaction. What happened? where you were at, what your response was when this targeting got called.
So I'm at my girlfriend's house watching it with her dog and her mom and dad, and it just didn't make sense to me. Like there's so many things wrong, and it got overturned today, which was huge. But my problem is, yes, it's not ideal. It looks a lot worse in full motion than it does in slow motion. I think this is a legal hit and legal fumble. I get it. It's technically targeting because he made a forcible hit to the head or neck area of the defender, of the offensive player, and he's technically defenseless, but he's getting tackled into it. He started that hit here. And he's going to hit him probably right in the chest to stomach, and the guy's falling, so he's getting tackled from behind by Denzel, and he falls into the targeting. It's similar to when Deshaun Kaiser absorbed it, or when Joey Bosa got a targeting call my freshman year against Deshaun Kaiser Notre Dame. Joey went in, he lowered his head, which maybe wasn't the right move, but Deshaun was on the move throwing and faded his throw and faded into Joey, who had already started his tackle, and it kind of was a perfect meshing point of Joey hitting him. I mean, he hit him dead in the face. It was a targeting, but it was frustrating because the intent obviously wasn't there. And I don't think the intent was there from Reese here either. It was just he hit him and was going for the ball, going for the fumble, and he had a great hit here, but then as he's getting tackled from behind, it turns into targeting.
Yeah.
I was not happy, but had to contain myself because I didn't want to look like a crazy person.
You still got to impress. Yeah, no, you got to impress the in-laws, man. You can't go crazy.
Yeah, just still trying to do my best out here.
You ain't gonna do it with your look, so you can't be crazy too. So no, but a huge play. Like I didn't see it. I was in the media room, so we're off of the field, and you just hear the hit happen, the fumble. They think it's a fumble, and then just overwhelming boos, just overwhelming. The whole stadium going nuts. Oh, something happened. And yeah, it was a massive hit. It looked, like you said, a little bit more violent than what it was. But one of the things that it did do was trigger Cody Simon to just go absolutely bonkers. You can laugh at my notes for each of the plays here. We get Cody going nuts, part 1. I forget what the play is. Oh yeah, he goes to screen. All right. So Nebraska, I don't hate the play call actually, right? Ohio State's been very aggressive. They get 1st and 15 here. They're moving it out towards midfield, but Cody does a really nice job. He's got his eyes on one guy only. He reads screen early. The ball's actually completed, but Cody says no way, rips him to the ground, and he's going crazy. He's going maniac.
I don't understand the design of the play here. I truly don't. Why are the guard and center engaged? I think this was a miscommunication by them. They didn't know what play was going on because obviously that far tackle releases and gets upfield, but that other guard should have released upfield unless there's two. There's not two people there, are there? No, there's one. Oh no, there is.
They called it backwards.
There's two D linemen there, but that's when you got to throw. You got to throw one of them by and get up on Cody because that's the important one. And you're expecting that tackle to get all the way upfield and get on that linebacker. That's an insane plane design if that's what you want to have happen. He saw it. He tried to get up there, but if you're the guard there, you know where the ball's going. Let Tyleek or whoever, I think that's JTT rushing inside. Let him get through. He's going to throw the ball over the top of him. Get off onto Cody because this tackle had to do it, and he had to change his direction 3 times, which it's turning a semi-truck when you're that big. And that's why it blew up, and Cody made a phenomenal play. It's just horrible. Dude, there's an MA here, and Cody takes full advantage of it.
I wonder if something's backwards here. Either he meant to call it, let's just say, for example's sake, screen left, and he called it screen right or something, because this guard up top is releasing. This guard right here is releasing to get into a screen look. This defensive end's running by. I wonder if the screen was supposed to get set up right there, or it's the back was on the wrong side, or there's a mistake somewhere. Something's not right in this play. Good eyes by you, because something is awry there on this one. But Cody going crazy, making a huge play. All right, this one's my favorite because Cody's locked in on the running back here. Again, you can see him. He's looking straight at him. They're manned up across the board. So Ohio State will do this from time to time. Again, 2nd and 18, they're in an advantageous situation. They're going man, 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 and Cody's manned up. And then Sonny's eyes on the quarterback, and you get man here. So what happens is they send this running back into the flat and try to like get Cody into some traffic. It doesn't quite work. You release the tackle too. It's almost like an extended screen. But to do that, you got to beat the linebacker to the spot. You're not doing that against the block O, man. This was a sweet play.
No, it really was. I was pumped for that one. I clapped. I mean, I clapped pretty loudly at that one. I let a little bit of emotion show, but it was that's just great football. I mean, that's just what it was. That pumped me all the way up.
It was awesome. And then they followed up with this one, the last play of the game. Jordan Hancock talked about it in his post-game presser, but he just basically was like, you can see him here right on my cursor. I have him circled there, but he's talked about how they saw this exact look in film, and that all throughout the game, they weren't really pressing him deep. So he goes, instead of getting crazy depth, he said, I sat and I stayed patient right at the sticks. You can see he's right on the first down marker, and he just sits there. Riola tries to force it, kind of stares it down. It's a desperation play, 3rd and 19 anyway, but he's there. Jordan Hancock makes a play and seals the deal for the Buckeyes. They escape. They get that win, 21 to 17 there, man. And it was it was not pretty, Kevin. It was not a pretty win by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it wasn't, but it's a win's a win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the only way to describe it. There's a lot to build on. Let's end on a high note. There's a lot to build on, and they're going to do it. They need to. It's Penn State's a big game every year, especially when you're the number 4 team, they're the number 3 team. I mean, you had Georgia jump you to 2, and I want to say was Oregon 1. Yeah, so we have 4. Won. Big Ten has 4 teams in the top 4, or 3 teams in the top 4.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on number 5, Miami. Not getting there.
You're not a believer? Come on,
they're terrible. You're
not a believer?
No, I am not. I think that no, I am not. I think they should have lost a game earlier against my Hokies, and that's trash. But that's a different conversation. And I'm very happy for multiple reasons. I think that a noon game is better for Ohio State. I'll be the first one to say it, because you're going to be in Happy Valley, and there's going to be people driving by that little motel that they stay in, and they're going to be honking their horns all night, and you're going to be wearing your noise canceling headphones to sleep well. So it's all for nothing, but it's their biggest game of the year every year. They always do it. It's hysterical. But I mean, the stadium's going to smell like manure. Get used to it. They're going to find a play where you mess up, and they're playing a song like they did against us in 2017 or 8. I think it was 2018. We had that comeback in Penn State. I think we either threw an interception or fumbled the ball when All of the Lights by Kanye was playing, and they played it 8,000 times. That's so just what they are.
It seems like you really love Happy Valley. It seems like it's one of your
favorites.
Oh,
yeah, no, they're not corny at all. No, not at all. But, I mean, I would have I'm excited it's a noon game. It's big noon kickoff. We're going to get up. We're going to get ready. We got to go. My apartment is bigger than the locker room they're going to be in. You're not going to be comfortable until you get out on the field. And if anything, it makes it worse for Penn State, because you walk in, you're pissed, you're already upset. You get even more upset when you walk in and you got a New York studio apartment for a locker room, and then you got 85 guys fitting into that, 55, 60, whatever the number is. Like, it's all around bad. And you walk out there, you beat the hell out of them, and you go home. That's what makes the trip to Happy Valley worth it, because the only thing Happy Valley is good for, not even football, it's the ice cream. That's about
it. So, as you can tell, Kev has very, very fond memories of visiting the Nittany Lions and going up there. It's a huge day, man. Like you said, they got to get up and they got to come ready to go, because we talked about it on Saturday after the game. If you're a Penn State player, Penn State fan, this is your first chance in a long, long time where you think you got a chance to get after Big Brother. And if you're one of the younger brothers, you ever have been, I was, that day where you think you can get after Big Brother is either a good day or a really freaking bad day for you. And it's Saturday is going to be a massive match. It goes without saying matchup, but like eyes of America are going to be on it. 3 versus 4. This is your chance to catapult back into national prominence. Or hey, Ohio State maybe not as good as everyone wants them to be.
Right, like you had the opportunity to drop one. Maybe 2 games, and if you drop this game to Penn State, you're out of the Big Ten championship game most likely because they're probably playing. They're playing so well. They're probably making it. And Penn State's a good team. I'm not here to tell you that Penn State's a bad team. Yeah. They're a very, very good team, and you're going to have to throw your absolute best fastball at them to beat them because, Drew Aller's a good quarterback. They obviously have a really good backup who can run and everything. It's just this is a very good Penn State team, probably the best they've had in a long time, and it shows. Since maybe Saquon's first or second year, but that's just the truth. Saquon's last year or the year after, which was 17 or 18, were 2 really, really good Penn State teams. They almost had us beat in 2020 during that COVID year. It was just that they're always there. It's always a tough game. It's always a hard game. Penn State's a very good football team. It's just you when you lost Oregon, your laser lights were set on Penn State. And I hope that at least that's where I thought they were. And maybe that's why it was a little of a look-ahead game against Nebraska. But that's where it needs to go.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. You are absolutely dead right. Everything you said there. I do got to get to Happy Valley to try out that ice cream, but no, it will be it will be an awesome atmosphere on Saturday. It's going to be an awesome game, but ultimately, it's going to come down to the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes are the only ones kind of getting in their own way. Nothing that we saw tonight mistake-wise was schematic, right? It was all execution-wise. So they have an opportunity this week. Whatever they're going to decide to do up front, however they adjust it. We'll definitely see. They're going to have to get creative, though. You're down Zen as well as Josh Simmons. You're going to have to get creative at left tackle, and then there's going to be a ripple effect to that, with the rest of the way. So whomever does have to step in, it's going to be a big week for them. But we're going to have you covered all week long. Kevin and I will be back on tomorrow and Thursday, getting more into the nitty-gritty of Penn State, who they are, what they like to do, who some of their top guys are, and how Ohio State is going to have to try to attack them. So we'll be back later on this week for that. But we also got you covered over on our site, si.com/college/Ohio State, where we have you covered all of our written stuff wall to wall as Ohio State gets ready to go over there. So subscribe to our channel here, then go over to our website, read some of our stories where we get you covered and we get you set for what's going to be a massive, massive game on Saturday in Happy Valley. So Kevin, before we get out of here, any final thoughts?
No,
you want to play. You want to strap it on right now and go, but it's only Monday.
Yeah, I'm not happy. I think we need. I'm excited to dive into Penn State a little bit this week when we do our, previews of the game. There hasn't been much on Zen. I don't think there has on if he's done for the year or not. It didn't look good. Whenever the card comes out, it never looks good unless you're DK Metcalf who has to use the restroom. But that's about it. I don't think that's what happened to Zen, but it's going to be interesting to see how if they move, because I'm pretty sure Double T has some experience at tackle. Maybe they move Donovan out there and bring in Luke Montgomery and I was shocked to see Luke go in there because Double T was already in there. I'm surprised they didn't go with Austin, but Austin didn't look that good when he came in some of the plays we saw tonight, especially. It'll be interesting to see how they choose to maneuver through this sinking hole that seems to be the left tackle position. But I don't know what exactly happened to Zen. I didn't see anything today. I don't know if you did.
I did not. We'll know more.
So
Coach Day holds that injury stuff pretty close to the chest, but we'll know. Early on what the outlook looks like. So everybody, appreciate you jumping in and hanging out with us tonight. We love doing this type of stuff. So whatever you can do to support, we really do appreciate it. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button. You'll be alerted every time that Kevin and I bring you any type of content. So I'm excited to continue doing this. So we'll get out of here on that. It's going to be an exciting week, one that Ohio State needs. So we got you covered here all week long. Get over to our website, read some of our stuff. And for my partner, Kevin Woidke, I'm Anthony Moeglin, signing off for another film room episode on the Buckeye Breakdown Podcast.